Chapter 14. The difference between meeting a need and creating a moral hazard. We are all human. We came from the tribe. The tribe helped each other. We like to help people in our tribe. Too much help can spoil someone. Too little help could leave someone for dead. Where's the balance here? This topic is one of the greatest conflicts in our political psychology. A debate has raged on concerning how much the state should be involved in the welfare of others. There are certain things that only the government can do. The military is something that is too big to be privatized. The interstate system is something that was too big to privatize as well. However, these projects provided security and mobility for the country, notwithstanding arguments on how effectively we use our military to generate true peace. Security and mobility increase the quality of life for everyone. No other single entity could have orchestrated the scope of those projects on their own. It took a collective social system to complete these huge projects. Security and mobility do not weaken or enable you. They provide opportunities. They empower you. To put it simply, a moral hazard is what happens when a person doesn't care about the consequences of their actions because someone else is going to have to deal with those consequences. Let's consider an outdated government subsidy program that creates a moral hazard. The government will pay farmland owners money to not farm crops. Why? Back in the Great Depression, our economy experienced massive deflation, which is another way of saying that prices were dropping. Crop prices were also dropping. Basic economic principles tell us that as supply increases, prices decrease, and vice versa. Too many farmers farming too much land made too much food. The government stepped in and started paying farmers to not farm so that prices could stabilize. On a side note, let this one example reflect that the priorities of our economic system do not always align with human welfare. There was a shortage of food that followed. People had to suffer despite having an available food supply. On the other hand, if farmers would continue as they were, then many farmers would have gone out of business because they couldn't have made a profit. Then you would have true scarcity rather than artificial scarcity. Whether you think that is right or wrong, my point is that our allocation of capital and labor is systemically limited in its scope to maximize the welfare of others. More on that will be discussed later. Today, those Great Depression laws still exist. Now, farmland owners receive subsidies. In other words, you could have no idea how to farm. As long as you can prove you have arable land in the court of law, then you may be eligible for free money. There is a moral hazard here. Other people pay taxes, which now goes to the person who owns the land. The landowner doesn't have to deal with the problems that you have with your tax losses. Government welfare systems also exhibit schizophrenic-like behavior. One program will subsidize tobacco farmers. Another program may launch a huge anti-smoking campaign. What is really being accomplished here? The details of government welfare systems could go on forever. We need the brass tacks. This is where a psychological perspective can come in handy. The litmus test for any government program should analyze whether or not a moral hazard is being created. This will maximize the benefits of social welfare systems while limiting the damage created from moral hazard. One certainty about helping others concerns children. Clearly, children cannot provide for themselves. They require someone else to help them. Feeding them, providing them clothes, and providing them shelters does not create a moral hazard, much in the same way that the interstate system could be considered a prudent investment that provides returns that outweigh the initial costs. Taking care of children is definitely a great investment idea. A child's physical, social, emotional, and mental development all depend on other people. If you want a generation of kind, loving, healthy, and intelligent human beings, then you need to invest in it. I admit the difficult part of this is allocating capital in a way that eliminates the possibility of creating a moral hazard for the parents or anyone else. If you just give parents money with the hopes that they will use it only for their children, you may be disappointed. Perhaps a more direct method where products like clothes, diapers, and baby formula are provided to families in need could circumvent the moral hazard problem. The important part to focus on is how we can realign our priorities to meet the needs of our fellow man, while hopefully empowering them and creating opportunities, all the while not creating a moral hazard. So how do you apply this on a personal level? Make sure that when someone else is doing business with you that they have some skin in the game. Let's say you sent your kid to college. They may not care about their grades because you are the one footing the bill. You have to get creative about how you can get them to carry some of the risk for flunking out of college. In order to do that, it is useful to study how millionaires successfully invest in people.